And we are live. All right, cool. So today I wanted to kind of go over some basic service tools that I carry in my small pack. I have numerous tool bags, and I really like this small guy I got because I don't have to carry everything around. I can only carry the basics, and 9 times out of 10, I can figure what's going on out with just these basic tools. I have a lot of other fancy tools. I have a lot of other tools that enable me to look at refrigerant charge, airflow, electronics, electrical components, loads, things like that. But when we're talking in just a general sense of troubleshooting, just trying to figure out, okay, well, where is the basic issue at? Or, hey, customer calls, says, hey, my furnace isn't running, not sure what's going on. It was running great yesterday or the other day. Can you come take a look? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of my truck and I'm going to bring my bag, probably a drill. I used the Milwaukee Fuel, the new fluid driver, hydro driver, as well as a light. And I bring these things because I need the light. And this is one of the best lights I've ever used when being able to kind of crawl around a crawl space or a dim lit area, whatever it is. And then my Milwaukee M18 driver here. This is great for taking panels off of big units. Maybe I got to get in, pull a bunch of screws. It just makes the process that much faster. And then within my tool bag here, we can see that we have a few different items going on. So on the outside, I keep a basic circuit checker. This just tells me basically that, hey, I have power to my circuit, or I'm registering power in the wire, or I am getting power to a component. When we go further, we also have a temp gun. Now, when it comes to temperatures and other electronics, I love Fluke. Fluke makes a great tool, generally really expensive, but hey, you want good readings, you're going to have to buy the tool. Now, when we open up the bag, you're going to find that we have a few different items in here. We have a set of wire strippers, which I like Klein when it comes to actual electrical tools, crimpers, strippers, drivers, so on, then, we have basic assortment of hand drivers. This in particular, I really enjoy. This is one of my new tools. Uh, it's a multi-bit driver. If you can see, we have a whole bunch of different bits in there, as well as we have our common sizes here for 1/4 inch and 5/16 screws or bolts, as well as it's extendable and removable. What's really neat about this is that I can put onto my drill here and I can have an extension. Or if I'm on a unit and I'm just trying to get some stuff done, but I don't want to change bits constantly, I can just flip it over and I have a new size. One thing I really like about this driver, though, is just how multifunctional it is. We don't just have our, normal Phillips and flatheads, but we have a valve core remover, which I find to be pretty darn cool. I've been on jobs where, valve core doesn't want to come out. We got to pull it. And unfortunately, we're going to have to pump down the system, open it up, and really get in there. And previously, I would always have to use like needle nose pliers. Let's see here. Either needle nose pliers, much like this, a small set that I can get in and really, work on it to get it out. Or we just have to flat out replace the service valve. And that sometimes is not cost effective, nor is it time effective. So having basic tools like the core remover, as well as just even a basic Schrader core remover, funny enough, a lot of people don't realize that, the valve cores that keep your air conditioning or water in its place without leaking is the same type of valve stem that you have in your bicycle, that you would go and put air in. It's legitimately the same thing. So from there, if I can get that back in, we have a meter. Now, I typically don't use Field Piece as much as a lot of other guys do. Field Piece is great as far as they're an affordable, pretty reliable meter. And when you're using these, you just got to get used to the different settings because, the settings themselves, if you're not on the right setting, you're not getting the right reading. However, longevity, I really don't know about these too much. I got it. It was a deal. It was like $150, something like that. And that, carries me through with most of my service. I don't need anything too fancy, too over the top, anything that, has all these other readings or settings that we may never need. Then I carry basic nut drivers. So this is a 1/4 inch and it's a Klein. So it's a hollow neck. It has a hole through the shaft. So then I can drop it on the studs and then remove the bolts or the nuts. As well as we have other drivers and such, 3/8 when we need to take off a little bit bigger items. And then one of my favorites is doubles as security, as well as, when you need to get into something, cut insulation, cut duct board, maybe even a little bit of a prying tool from time to time, is my duck knife. And this is a Clink, and Clinks make really good tools. I love their knives. The downside is about these knives is that they're very often not resharpenable, at least not on the serrated side. The sharpened side here is fine. We can resharpen it, use it, but realistically, they're $20 knives. So we can just go pick up a new one when we need something sharp that we're really using for duct work, and then we can have a basic one like this when we're coming into prying units, prying panels, other things that really require us to get some leverage in it. Now, I picked up this little guy, and this I've never used before. I saw it advertised at the wholesaler, and basically what they market it as is a doorstop or a door switch depressor. So it's magnetic, so it clicks onto the unit, and then you have these tabs that will hold the switch down and allow me to operate the equipment without having to use tape or bypassing a switch or whatever it is. I think it could end up being a little safer option. Definitely something that I think is going to come in handy, and I definitely look forward to using. Now, other basic items, which I know this one's empty, but fuses, we normally have to carry 3 amp, 5 amp, 10 amp, 7.5. It really just depends on what we're looking at. And then we have different styles. We have blade fuses, which that's what these typically are. More like the ones that you would use in your older car, we run glass fuses, like little glass tubes with a filament inside of various sizes. So whenever I go on a job, there's one other tool, you could say, that I really enjoy using, and it really makes life easy, and it's these guys. I know they're kind of jumbled up at the moment, but they're jumper wires. So what this allows me to do is that, for instance, if I'm trying to diagnose a no heat call and I can't, the thermostat's really far away, customer's doing some stuff, whatever it is, it just allows me to go and bypass the actual signals to the unit to get it to come on, turn off, whatever I need to do at the unit. So with these, it allows me to bypass switches, bypass signal terminals, allows me to kind of manipulate the unit in the way that I want to try out different troubleshooting diagnostics, whatever it is. For instance, I can put this on the red wire, this on the white wire, and now I have a call for heat. or say I have a high limit switch that is suspecting to be faulty, excuse me, I can put this on either end of that limit switch, and what it'll do is that it'll just temporarily bypass it. That way, when I go and fire off the unit, whatever it is, we can see if that's the culprit. Another good thing that I like to use these for is jumping out gas valves. When I'm on a unit and I suspect a gas valve might be an issue, so say it starts up, goes through its initial startup phase, igniter comes on, and it says, hey, we hear the click to open up the gas valve from the relay on the board. Well, sometimes that doesn't happen. It could be a grounding issue. It could be, a faulty solenoid on the valve. It could be, faulty ground on the board. It's just something could be breaking that intermittency. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll go straight from the 24-volt lead on the transformer directly to the gas valve just to verify if, hey, we're opening, everything looks good. And then what I can also do is take my meter here, and this ring aspect, this part is for reading amperage. So then I could put it right over and jump out my gas valve and see how many amps that gas valve is pulling, which will, usually tell me, hey, gas valve is operational, everything looks good, or hey, we're overamping, it's over its specs, and we should probably look at replacing that gas valve. Now, when it comes to these tools, I always tell guys, we want to invest into our future. So, you get a lot of guys who are starting out in this trade and they go to the cheap stuff. Maybe it's a Ryobi, maybe it's, some other brand of tool that, hey, if it gets you by, it gets you going, that's one thing. But you can't expect longevity or quality out of that tool if you're not really spending the money to get it. Like temp guns are notorious for being one of those tools that most people, they think, hey, I can go pay $30, get one, and it'll show me a temp. Sure, yeah, it will. The problem is that temp accurate? Is it something that is going to last you long term? Is it going to last a year, 6 months, or is it going to last 10 years of your career? Which is why I finally upgraded to the Fluke myself. The Fluke here, this is normally about $300, if not a little bit more. It comes with some extra accessories. I could put a pipe clamp strap onto this and it'll give me pipe clamp readings. I can do infrared. I can take temps on surfaces and see, hey, are we heating, are we cooling? And it gives me different reflective options as well as a data logging aspect, and that sometimes can be very important. But what I really look at this tool for is it was made to last. It's got a rubber grip. It's got a nice large housing. It lasts a long time. It doesn't go through batteries like crazy. And it's easy to read when I use it. And it's a pretty easy tool to use, point and click. When we start kind of sacrificing on tool quality, you may get a pair of wire strippers, right? Well, maybe they're Craftsman brand or some brand that you've never really heard of. Maybe you went to Harbor Freight and you're like, hey, I just need a pair. Cool. Grab the pair. Start your career with it. Build from there. But then what you're going to find is that when you finally upgrade to, say, a set of Kleins here, these are, $40-$50 for a set. And it's just one. This is honestly my second or third set because I keep losing them. Whether I'm in an attic or I'm on a rooftop and I've got a lot of calls I got to get to, we really count on the quality of our tools because it adds for ease. It adds for more sure connections, more just logistically speaking, when you're using your tools, having it to where it's easy, it's comfortable, it's something that you actually enjoy pulling out of your bag and using. These lines are another example of that. They have a nice rubber grip, they move and close very easy, and the wire stripping terminals are very, very sharp. So that means I can go through multiple sets of wire before I'm ever looking at, hey, this thing's starting to dull out, maybe I need to get another one. So when it comes to your tool bag, what I would say is approach things from a simple perspective. Um, don't go in with every tool you own to go diagnose a dirty flame sensor, because I've done that. I did that for years. It kills your back. It kind of kills your motivation. And, uh, quite frankly, there's a lot of jobs, depending on what time of year you're in, you're not going to need all your tools. You're not going to need, your 12-inch crescent wrenches. You're not going to need your 16-inch pipe wrench, things like that, which those are tools we'll get into a little later on. But as far as a basic service or a tune-up bag, this is a good way to go. And the bag itself, it's a Vito bag, and I got this through a deal I did last summer or fall, whenever it was. Basically, I bought their backpack tool bag that I can customize for what I need, as well as they kicked this in for free. And this is normally a $300 tool bag. And I've really come to enjoy this tool bag. It's built really well. It's thick. It's got leather on it. They use actual metal badging. You can hang a tape measure on it. You can put a shoulder strap on and climb it up to the roof, whatever you're looking to do. But I really enjoy this tool bag, and I think that if you're in a service kind of oriented environment, this tool bag is a real good go-to. And the best part is that, as you can tell, I didn't load it up. I didn't fill every pocket. I didn't, make it to where it's so unbearably freaking heavy. I just put a few basics that I need in there. And if there's anything else that's beyond that, maybe I don't use very often, I'll run to the truck. I have it in the truck, and we'll go ahead and get the job taken care of. One thing I really like about this bag that I think is really underrated, that a lot of guys may not appreciate, is it's got a hard bottom. That hard bottom really makes working out in the field very simple at times, because there's nothing more frustrating than when you're out, maybe you're in the rain, maybe you're in some pretty adverse weather, you're trying to get this unit done or figure out what's going on so you can get their equipment online, so you can get these folks back running again and back in service, and this happens. Just your freaking tool bag just falls all over the place, or it sags, or it develops holes in the bottom. Whatever it is. But there's a cool little features about this bag that I really enjoy. And it also, on the inside, has a hook that's attached that I can flip the top, pull the hook out, and I can hang it so then it's right here, while I'm working, not all the way over here, all the way on the back of the unit, whatever it is. So, when it comes to your basic loadout, I would say keep it basic, keep it simple. You're going to need a drill, most likely. You're going to need a light. One of the best things that sold me on this light, which was really funny, was when I was in the wholesale house and I was talking to the guys. I was like, hey, I want a light that's bright, because my eyes are they aren't doing what they used to anymore. And they said, hey, you should get this light over here. And I said, well, why is that? Is it durable? Is it going to go out on me? And they had said, well, it can be ran over by a truck multiple times and still work just fine. And I said, really? So they ended up pulling out a light, and sure enough, it had been run over like 3-4 times by a semi-truck. And I was like, geez, well, that's my light. Sure enough, I bought it a couple of years ago, and it's been the best light I've owned, next to my little pin light, my little inspection light. So I think this will wrap it up for today as far as this in regards to a basic service pack. What we can do next time or here in the future is we'll take a look at my normal backpack, my service backpack, and we can see what kind of tools that you're going to be looking to probably purchase in your career and what route to go on things, is it length? Is it size? Is it how heavy? Is it safety oriented? What's the tool for? So if you guys have questions, I would love to talk with you guys and uh, be curious to see what you guys carry in your tool packs. Or maybe you guys have a suggestion that I haven't seen. Or if there's a way that I can help you out and to kind of organizing your setup to where you can be more effective out in the field, make more money. I'm here for that too. So till next time, enjoy. Happy HVACing.